Yeah. I had just written a Christmas movie, and I wanted to do something that was just the polar opposite of that. And I happened to see this great documentary on 30 for 30 that Annette Burstein did on Tonya Harding, and I thought, well, nothing sort of doesn't say Christmas like Tonya Harding's story. So I went on the Tonya Harding website to see who her agent was and if the life rights were available. And I called the number for the agent, and it was a Motel 6. Yeah, and so I thought, I'm in.
Well, I think Brian must have read the script around the same time as us, and he attached to produce probably 2 days before we had our meeting, Steve and Brian and myself, and we just all saw it the same way the second we sat down together. And I was really going to fight to be able to play the role of Tonya, but also to have our production company, Lucky Chap, produce, and for Tom to come on board and produce. And but there was no fight needed. We all kind of saw the film the exact same way. We were all passionate about the script. It was just such a good script, and we kind of set off pretty quickly from that point. It's really been like we kind of hit the ground running, and the time it took between that initial meeting to being here at Toronto with the premiere coming tonight, it's been a year.
Yeah.
Do you think?
Yeah,
which in film terms is crazy to do pre-production, production, post-production, and be ready to release it. It's been extremely quick. And from that point on, we kind of then had the task of who's going to be able to direct it. There was so many ways to do this script, like to not do the script justice, and we needed someone extremely exceptional to do it right, and the tone was very specific, and that's like that intangible thing that everyone searches for in a film but no one knows how to describe. And Craig was the first person that really seemed to understand these characters and the script and the way to find that nuance between the comedy and the drama.
It's funny, because you obviously talk about the tone a lot, and Steven's script I absolutely loved, and
Go slow.
and what is supposedly a very tricky tone. I had the same experiences when I read Laz, which could arguably be described as a tricky tone as well, but I so clearly saw it from how he portrayed it on the page, and the empathy that you have for the characters, and the dance between the humor and the drama. And so I immediately had a vision for how I'd like to do it. And that's the hard work right there. Like, if you know like what you're aspiring to and what you're trying to grab, and it's like, but the writing just like sort of dictated that to me.
I kind of wanted to meet her, not to really get anything out, because I knew I was going to be creating a character. I wasn't going to try and replicate the human being. I was going to try and create a character, and meeting her wasn't to try and, I could already go online and hear her accent, see her mannerisms and things like that, and find all the information we need in the script and furthermore on internet. But I wanted to meet her to kind of say, I'm going to create a character, so wherever this film takes us, that this is not me trying to replicate you. This is a character, and I just wanted her to know that, I suppose. Beyond that, it was interesting to just hear her perspective on things that we thought we knew, and it always is going to sound different from the person that it happened to. So it's not that it really brought out any new information, and it didn't change the way we approached the film in any way. It was just good to have that human connection, I think.
And something I loved about the script, and which again is from Stephen interviewing her and Jeff, they've been distilled down to these punchlines in our society. Literally, Obama made a joke about it, a year and a half ago. They was going to go Tonya Harding on somebody, and they've become like these punchlines. And it was just refreshing to realize to meet a person, and she's a human being, and to be able to tell that story honestly. And wherever that lands, but it's like everybody, they don't land in these situations. It's a lot of circumstances and upbringing and their environment that created this whirlwind, and that's what I was really curious, and I think it was really captured in the screenplay. It's not that we're trying to manipulate the audience into feeling for her. We're just telling a very honest portrayal, but through that portrayal, you really do get to know her in a way that you didn't before.
There was some love there and concern for her, but just she had to have come from a pretty damaged family herself, and I think she just wanted a way out for herself and for her daughter, but definitely thinking more about her own. I love one of the first things Stephen told me about this part when he said he wrote it for me, is that I get to play this woman who is lives in a trailer basically and wears a fur coat and has a bird on her shoulder, and I was like, I'm in. I want to play this woman, and it was just an incredible journey to get to play her.
A big part of the psychology of Levana was that, and Tonya, is if you told Tonya she couldn't do it, she'd want to do it that much more. So she always was just withholding any sense of you've done it, you've done well, and that really drove her.
And despite you know, how people would look at Levana's parenting, I suppose, at least what we see of it in our film, she got up at the crack of dawn every day to take her to practice for years. She sewed all her costumes. I mean, she cared on some level. It just, I guess, was a very different way of caring. She must have thought she was doing it the right way.
Yeah.
I went up and I interviewed Tonya, and then I tracked down Jeff in a heartbeat because I knew he changed his name after he got out of prison because he didn't want to be named Galooly anymore. He didn't want to be recognized, but he moved into his same small town, so everyone knew him and everyone recognized him, but he had a different name, and I knew he was a car salesman, so I just typed that in and clocked, I don't want to say where, and I don't know why he agreed to give me an interview, because he's actually never given an interview. He's commented on stuff and he's said like, oh, where are you today, that kind of stuff, but he's never given an interview, but he did give it to me.
Just anytime you're spending a lot of time trying to find anything on anybody, and you're building an idea in your head of them, and then you meet them and actually they surprise you in some way. So that's why I was happy that I met him, because I got so much more out of it than I would have found online and stuff. And you know, he like all of us, we have a story that either, you know, we've experienced or we tell ourselves, or that's the story we believe in. So he's got his point of view just like everybody else.
We all are misunderstood.
We wouldn't have movies if people weren't misunderstood.
That's good.